Yeah.
Here's where I think the streak might get broken right here. Jamal Murray or Deron Williams?
Yeah, you got to go with Deron Williams.
Yeah. Why are you going Deron Williams? I'm curious.
I mean, Jamal's awesome.
That's your guy.
I love Jamal. Like I said, I was a Jamal truther from the very beginning. Obviously, he's a champion now. D-Will never got to that point, but Jamal has also, I think, benefited quite extensively from playing next to Nikola Jokic, who makes everyone around him quite a bit better. D-Will was, I think, a more prolific, like, self-creator, setting up teammates, that kind of thing, in addition to some of the crazy shot making. So, yeah, you got to go Deron Williams.
Fair enough. I would actually go with him, too. He's got a little bit more size on Murray, I think, and the handles that Deron Williams had.
Yeah. Jamal Murray or Deron Williams?
All right, so Deron Williams, I remember that like big debate, like who's better, Jason Kidd or Deron Williams? And then obviously Kidd like superseded him, like and passed him. But there were a couple of years there where those were the guys, right?
Yeah.
And what was the other choice besides Deron Williams?
Jamal Murray.
I mean, Jamal Murray, like I understand it's 10 of the best years. Jamal Murray has never had that argument of is he one of the top 2 guards in the league? Whereas Deron Williams had that argument. I remember that pretty vividly. Guess I'll have to say Deron Williams.
And I think he averaged double-digit assists at least 4 or 5 years. So Deron Williams, he was a problem. A lot of people forget. A lot of people hyper-focus on the tail end when he was in Brooklyn and he was just unplayable.
And he got Jerry Sloan fired.
Oh, I didn't hear about that. I didn't know about that.
Sure, that was him, dude.
Jamal Murray or Deron Williams?
Yeah, I like this one. Deron, I liked. He had some good years, too. Had a solid team, and he played in that West that was brutal for years. Jamal's got that wild it factor, though. Like, playoff Jamal is becoming a thing.
He's a riser in the playoff, yeah.
I give the slight edge to Jamal, I guess, yeah. Just for the clutch factor.
Okay. All right.
Jamal Murray, Deron Williams, Jamal Murray, Deron Williams. Under a minute to go. Denver using some clock here. Goes into Deron Williams. Jokic finding Murray. Murray, does he got another one? Oh, you bet he does! And that might be the dagger.
Luka Doncic or Larry Bird? 10 years, equally good health. Who are you going with?
I think you kind of have to say Larry Bird. I think this is a really compelling one, though. I think there's a pretty strong case. I think Luka is special in his own right, just in terms of the strength and the creativity and his ability to create advantages with his handle. Larry Bird, 3-time All-Defense, not something that Luka's ever going to have on his resume, unfortunately. There's plenty of time for Luka to win a championship. I'm sure it'll happen at some point.
Yeah.
But we know for a fact that Larry has won a few. Shooting, Larry's a better shooter. If we want to think about how Larry Bird might have looked in today's NBA, I think probably inflate some of those numbers a bit. So I think you have to go with Larry Bird. But I do think it's close, and I think maybe 15 years down the line we might have different perspectives based on what Luke is able to accomplish, because Luke is like one of the most absurd talents to come into the league in a long time.
Yeah.
So
and he's still young. He's still young too. Yeah. Luka Doncic, and you look at what he's doing, and you're looking at...
Luka, don't you just hate Luka Doncic?
I love Luka. That dude is so fun to watch. Would you go with him, or would you go with Larry Bird?
Oh my God, look what you did. First of all, who was chubbier at their chubbiest? Luka Doncic or Larry Bird? Larry Bird, did you ever see that Dream Team documentary? And Barkley's talking about Larry Bird. He's like, Larry Bird will drink Budweiser before the games, and that's a strong beer. I just like the idea of Larry Bird drinking Buds with the Dream Team. Luka Doncic is definitely not drinking Budweiser. He's probably drinking Stella Artois. I would definitely say Larry Bird. He's one of the all-time greats. I think Luka Doncic obviously, his ceiling is probably Larry Bird. Maybe higher. I don't know. But I just feel like, yes, he is fun to watch. Yes, he did get his team to the finals. What he's done is very impressive. He got to the Final Four. He got to the finals. He's gotten to the Final Four twice. He's gotten to the finals. He's got a little help now with Kyrie Irving. But it's Larry flipping Bird, man. It's Larry Bird. Again, it was always is it Bird or Magic? Bird or Magic? No one's saying, is it Doncic or Embiid? Is it Doncic or insert best player active here. You know, who is the best player? You guys would say Embiid. Others would probably say, LeBron, I think, look, he's great, but it's in the rear view for LeBron. And then Doncic got to the finals. Hats off. But he ain't won it. And Larry Bird won it multiple times. So I'm definitely going Bird.
That's fair. I'm very curious about this one. Very curious. I'm going to pause just for this.
Luka?
Luka?
Yeah, it's Larry.
You know, let me get it out.
No.
Okay.
No, it's just Larry. It's 3 straight MVPs. Basketball during competition was at its peak. He's the greatest passer I've ever seen. Well, Magic as well. I always give Magic his credit there. That's it. Larry is still to this day the most clutch player I've ever seen.
It doesn't matter who it was. I was going to say Luka Doncic just so people could know.
I know.
It doesn't matter.
You want to say Jordan's peak, of course. But Larry didn't have a 10-year run. It's the other thing. Larry won 3 rings and 3 MVPs and didn't have. That was it. He was done. Now he had a great team, no question. But yeah, I've never seen it. And if you said, hey, tomorrow, perfect health, game 7, you need somebody to win it, I'd take Larry or Jordan 1-on-1A. Larry would make the same shot anybody else could make clutch, but he would also tell his defender what he was going to do first.
Yeah.
Just a bad dude. I wish he's another guy. What if he stayed healthy and played 13 years? You know, I think that would have been a wild stretch.
Have you ever seen his Hall of Fame introduction?
Oh, yeah.
Induction. Like 2.5 minute standing ovation? I was watching it for our preparation. I was like, they will not stop. They love Larry Bird up there.
Yeah, and like Jordan is the GOAT, right? No disputing that. But if you ask players now, like the 40, 50, 60-year-old, it's always, Magic and Larry were the GOATs before that. Like those two, and they could both do everything. Yeah.
Right.
There's very few people, those two, I'd take over them.
And that was a good point you made too. Larry Bird really didn't have, I think he had like a good 10-year run, and that was about it.
Yeah. Yep. And even then, injuries a couple times. Yeah, just not, the health killed him. His back, his knees.
Luka Doncic. Larry Bird.
Luka Doncic. Larry Bird. Luka Doncic. Larry Bird. Most amazing late game players that I've ever seen.
Finney Smith to inbound. Back to Doncic.
Doncic pulls up, 3-pointer. Bang! Bang! It's good. Doncic wins the game.
Speaking of social media, Kyrie Irving or Pistons Isiah Thomas?
I'm going with Isiah. I've watched that
Good answer.
Pistons documentary on ESPN a couple times. I have an affinity for that team. Isiah is much better at elevating teammates. Way, 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 way better on defense. Kyrie has all the great skill stuff. Won a championship with LeBron. I get it, but I'm not 100% convinced that Kyrie is really anywhere close to Isiah Thomas's level.
Strictly on court, 10 years, Kyrie Irving or Isiah Thomas? Pistons Isiah Thomas.
Wow. So, how do you not involve the antics? Because it's weird because, look, Isiah Thomas obviously was supposed to be on that dream team, and Michael Jordan was like, nah, I'm not going to play if he's on that. So,
right.
Bro is playing psychological mind games to the next level, whereas Kyrie Irving is playing psychological mind games with himself. And so, yes, Kyrie has that chip. Yes, he was down 3-0 and came back and won it in 7, which is incredible. Obviously, LeBron gets all the flowers, but Kyrie's the one who hit the shot. I'm definitely going to go Isiah Thomas just because if you can get under Michael Jordan, everybody, Michael Jordan creates these false narratives. We've all heard it. We all watched the documentary. And I'd like to say, I said that Hakeem Olajuwon was a former Clipper great. I'm sorry. That was Dominique Wilkins we got on the tail end. We never had Olajuwon. I apologize.
Yeah, you had me there. I was like, when did that
happen?
I
was like, how did I miss that?
We had Dominique Wilkins, excuse me. But yeah, I'm going for Isiah just because I just think he's the smarter leader. And so he led the bad boys. Kyrie Irving, I was there in the post-game press conferences and he actually did impress me after the game. I thought he was very thoughtful. He was listening to the questions, and if he didn't like it, he would kind of ask the reporter the question back to him. And I was like, oh, this is kind of a fun side of Kyrie that I haven't seen. And Kyrie does get I think Kyrie gets a lot of negative flack. Yeah, you shouldn't have retweeted whatever you retweeted. Just walk away from social media, idiots. So Isiah had the benefit of not having social media. I think
that's a good point.
I think honestly everybody pre-social media had the benefit of not having social media.
Right.
Yeah,
but
that's
so
true.
I'm just gonna say Isiah Thomas based on I just think at the end of the day he is smarter.
Pistons Isiah Thomas or Kyrie Irving?
I mean, Magic and Michael will tell you he's the greatest point guard not named Magic. And Larry would say the same thing. So Isiah was a great two-way player, clutch. I think Kyrie is the most talented player of all time. I've never seen some of the stuff he does. Unbelievable. He's also, although Isaiah's a whack job, on the court, he somehow kept it together. Kyrie's walking around with the flat earth and his, incense and all this other nonsense. When things get tough, I don't know where Kyrie is. And I don't know that Kyrie could ever be a number one on a championship team. He's a great number two. Isiah was the number one on a championship.
Yeah, Isiah had to do a lot. I mean, he had Adrian Dantley for a time. He had Mark Aguirre, but really
Joe was great. Joe had
I love Joe Dumars, but Isiah was the heart and soul of that team.
Exactly. Isiah was the guy. Kyrie hit the shot, but LeBron was the guy.
Right.
If they had won this year, again, Kyrie's great. That's Luka's team. I don't think Kyrie could ever be a number one on a championship. So close, though, because he is unbelievable, but I'd go Isiah.
Kyrie Irving. Isiah Thomas. Kyrie Irving. Isiah Thomas. Kyrie Irving. Isiah Thomas. 21 Irving puts it up. Here's Thomas. Kyrie 7/10 of a second. There's the shot by Steph Curry. 6 to shoot. Pistons have won the World Championship. He lost the three.